Welcome back to Studio F, where on Fast Times Willy B, we'll be reviewing In a Violent Nature. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Fast Times!
Welcome back to Fast Times Willy B. I'm Willy B. I got Russ back. Russ, how we doing?
Excellent. How are you?
Doing well. We got to witness a very fun movie today.
Hell yeah.
And we'll be reviewing it. In a Violent Nature, the latest Shudder original to hit theaters.
Yep.
Love that these, low-budget horror movies from Shudder are getting their respect. Late Night with Devil was one that we got in March. And now here in May, the very end of May, we get In a Violent Nature. Chris Nash directed. Not very many recognizable names at all. We got Ryan Barrett as Johnny, our main antagonist, and then our final girl, Andrea Pavlovich, plays. And let's start with the good. There's a lot of good.
Yeah, I agree.
I would like to start with the kills.
Yeah.
Both of us fans of the slasher genre, especially when it comes to 80s campy horror. Mm-hmm. We get it all here. Yeah,
for sure. It was, and it was evenly placed as well. I felt like there's sort of after each kill, or the majority of kills at least, he starts like walking, and there's these long walking sequences, and it felt like it was almost end of a chapter. They were kind of bookmarking the chapters that way.
Going into this movie, one of the biggest gripes I heard from most people was the pacing. I thought the pacing was good.
I think it's probably those walking scenes.
Yeah.
There were a lot of like long, drawn out walking scenes. And I say drawn out, I don't mean that they overstayed their welcome. I think they were very well placed.
Yeah.
I thought the cinematography was excellent.
Oh, yes, it was.
And that was the framing and the color choices that they used in this movie were really cool.
They were definitely long walking scenes, and I can see why some people would gripe with them. Mm-hmm. But like you said, I thought they fit. I thought they were placed perfectly. They really broke up the action sequences we get. And like you said, the cinematography. I mean, the two scenes that really stick out to me as far as the shot goes. Actually, there's three. The one where he's walking in the water.
Yeah.
Insane
Drops
shot.
Down.
Yeah, insane shot. When he's walking through the field at dusk, and you see all the flowers, and the sky is like an orangish yellow, and the trees in the background. And then the other one was the overhead shot we get right before he drops the rock on the guy's head.
Yeah.
All
that kill?
Oh my god. All three of those shots were so good. But overall, the entire movie had great cinematography. I liked that it was, almost 4:3. It felt like you were watching an old movie. Mm-hmm. Not widescreen here.
Yeah.
I liked a lot of what was done on the creating the picture side of things.
Yeah, for sure. And to get back to the kills, that scene where he drops the rock on his head and his head just explodes like a watermelon is so sick. I think every single one of the kills were, well, I guess the kills that they showed you were excellent.
Yeah, they were.
But there are some, and this is, I mean, the entire movie is like a homage to Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
So obviously, with the earlier Friday the 13th movies, you have to have some of those, I'm not going to show you what happened sort of kills.
Yeah. I mean, the only ones we don't see is the axe one, where he throws the axe before the rock smashing.
Yeah.
And
the one in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Where he puts his hand on the guy's face.
Yeah.
You kind of see that as he's walking back through.
Yeah.
You see his arm is severed on top of the car.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, the drag hook kill.
Dude.
That's all you can really say. It was so insane.
Yeah.
We both, I heard you start chuckling, and I just felt my jaw hitting my chest. And I look over, and we're like, oh my God. The kills were very creative. They still had that campy 80s feel to them, but they went over the top because I was literally about to lean over, but right before that kill and say, we need something like Terrifier, like over the top, and then boom. Right when I was thinking that thought, we got it. So yeah, kudos to Chris Nash and the direction and the writing and creating these monstrous, over the top kills. And another thing to say that's really good when it comes to the kills is the practical effects.
Oh yeah,
you can tell that there's no CG in this movie.
No.
And that everything is done, low budget, very practically, and it all looked good. The blood looked good. Yeah. The body horror looked really good. The scene where he saws the guys and he's dragging him through, like...
He's dragging him by his bottom, his jaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the practical effect team did a phenomenal job in this one.
And then as he's dragging him to the ranger station, the automatic light comes up and you see that he still has his head in his hand as well.
Yeah.
The head was not as good as it could have looked, but I would much rather have something like that over a CGI ball in somebody's hand.
Yeah, for sure. That leads up to the scene where he gets his mask, and I really like the mask we get in this movie. That old-time fireman mask.
Yeah.
And this movie, I believe, was set like 70s, or it felt like it was. But the scene that kind of gives it away is... Aaron, our first kill of the group of friends at the fire, he has a cassette player, and they're like, show them that you're like from the future with your cassette player. So that almost gives it away that this is, that's probably cool. 80s, if not early 90s.
Right.
Which, they capture that too with the way it's shot and giving it that grainy feel to it. Just overall, it was a very easy movie to watch. Again, the pacing was a big part of that. It's a quick hour and 30 of just, if you're not scared of gore, you'll have a really good time with this movie. That's what it is. Something I said in my out-of-theater reaction, I still stand by it, is this movie is on par with, I think, the best of the Friday the 13th franchise.
I agree.
I would say it's right on par with 2, 4, and 6 for me.
Yeah, I think... And I think especially it sort of captures the essence of Friday 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think it has that sort of... It just has the feeling of both. And,
It was cool. One of the big draws to this movie being that you're watching a movie from the perspective of the killer. Yeah. I like that. Obviously, you don't get much character arc from the victims.
Right.
But... all the information you really find out is about him, like how he died and how he's brought back and the necklace storyline and all of this information, how he had, was mentally handicapped growing up and he was picked on. And it makes you almost root for, I know that's really bad to say given what he did to these people is so horrific. But like the story they give only makes you feel for him, the killer himself.
For sure.
And I like that route, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's... and they give you enough information, but they don't, give you the entire ordeal, I think that's really good because it's just like Halloween.
Yeah.
He's just this monster.
Yeah.
How they said at the end that it's just like animal instinct.
Yeah.
They gave the wolf in the hen house sort of analogy where, it's just a crazed animal. You know, there's hardly any more to it.
And I think that played really good in with the name of the movie and a violent nature, making it like he is an animal. Another scene I really liked was when we get his mask off. Usually, you talked about it, you don't want to see Michael Myers unmasked.
Right. Yeah.
But seeing the eyes with no pupils and the scars and that he is still just a big old kid playing with that truck, it's crazy. Yeah. And I thought that was a really cool scene. It's just another scene they throw in there that makes you feel like, oh, he's not a bad guy, and then he just rips somebody's head off.
Right.
But
I thought the face reveal was good. I think they did it very well. You weren't expecting it, which I'll get into that. You're not expecting things later.
Yeah.
When they showed his entire face, his mouth looked kind of a little fake to me.
Okay.
But what drew me back in was how expressive his face was.
Yeah.
it was like you could see all of the emotion running through his face when he had his mask off. And I thought that was excellent. And by the time he started putting the mask back on, I was fine with the mouth. I think it was just like a knee-jerk reaction. It kind of looked a little more fake than I would want it to. But that is probably my only negative with this movie.
Yeah. There's not a lot. I have a few nitpicky things, which we'll get into the mad, but a lot of this movie falls in the good for me. Do you have any other good that really stuck out to you?
Good scenes in particular, or just little things happening here and there? Well, I'll just get this out of the way, because this is something I liked about the entire movie. They totally avert or subvert, however you say it, the expectations of the viewer.
Yeah.
In every instance, it like you see him walking into a shed and there's a clearly lit axe on the wall. Who you know? Oh yeah, of course he's gonna go for the axe, but instead he goes for the saw.
Yeah.
There are, when you're around the fire, you think that these people are couples, and it actually turns out that nobody's a couple, and the two girls turned out to be lesbians, and they wanted to get together.
Yeah.
And you know, that's just things like that throughout the movie. At the very end, when you think you're gonna see something, of course you've got to see something. The cinematography sets you up to see something, and you never do. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they did a really good job with that, keeping you on your toes almost.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Not letting you know their next move is exactly right. And I like that, because, like you said, at the ending there, when she stops the truck to wrap the ankle, I almost was sitting like, oh, it's going to be a jump scare. It's going to get me. And then nothing happens. This whole time, it creates tension.
Definitely.
That never even,
Excellent tension.
And I think that's what it is. It's just that tension builder was done so well. And Chris Nash, again, a great job with that. And,
I was assuming that, what was the lead?
Andrea Pavlovich.
Yeah.
Pavlovich, something like that.
Yeah. I was assuming that she was going to look down, and she was, the older woman was going to be gone or like flayed, you know?
Yeah. I thought the same thing. Yeah, man, it was a really good watch experience. We, for a second, didn't know if we were going to be able to see it on opening night, because it didn't look like it was coming anywhere close to us. Then all of a sudden we got this last minute, it was a little bit of a drive for me, but it was right down the road from you. And we were, 2 of 3 people in the theater? Yeah,
there was another guy who came in 15 minutes after the opening of the movie.
He got there and it's first kill. But no, a lot of it falls in the good. This is hopefully what we saw in the theater isn't an indication of what this movie is going to do. Hopefully, I know it's coming to Shudder, so some people are probably just waiting for that, but hopefully it gets, a good run. Because I want more of these Shudder originals coming in the theaters.
I want more of this movie.
Yeah.
I thought that there could have been... I think that this movie had a decent runtime. It ended its story well. But I think there could be 3 or 4 more sequels.
Yeah.
It's like...
It's one of those movies that feels like it could, get the Terrifier treatment for sure.
And it should.
Yeah. Sure. Something I would like to point out too is, we've been in it's been 15 years since we've gotten a Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah.
Crystal Lake just got canceled. Mm-hmm. And so, we've always had this battle of legal rights on if we're even going to get another Friday the 13th movie. And I know this wasn't Friday the 13th, and I know it probably doesn't want to be compared to Friday the 13th, but it did have that feel to it. And I think this was almost a sequel that most Friday the 13th fans would have dreamed of having if we were going to get something now.
For sure. I think that they would be honored to be compared to Friday the 13th with all of the things that they're taking from Friday the 13th. I think they would be honored.
Yeah. But it definitely, there's that hole that we haven't had that hasn't been filled in 15 years, and I think this filled it without even being a Friday the 13th film.
Right.
So it was nice. It was nice having it. It's weird to say it's nice having a movie like this when you consider the subject matter, but
Yeah, well, there is a in general a large hole in movies that there just hasn't been an abundance of slasher movies.
Oh, for sure,
is a good thing.
And the ones we are getting are the franchise. We're getting our 7th Scream, and we're getting our not mad. 3rd Terrifier. I'm super excited for it.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I'm game for it. It's Christmas.
Yeah.
But, it seems like all the slashers we're getting, all the horror that's original isn't slasher, it feels like.
No. It's, the majority of horror seems to be, in the realm of...
unholy and
what's the word that I'm looking
for?
Psychological, yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Which I appreciate. I love psychological horror. But it's awesome to go to the movie theater and see a slasher movie.
That's what I've loved about this year so far. Abigail in this movie filled 2 holes for me. One being a really good gory vampire movie, and this one being a really good campy, gory slasher.
Right.
So getting both of those this year has just been like a present under the Christmas tree. We're not even to June yet, but we just started June, but it's nice. It's fresh.
Yeah, I agree.
But we can hop over to the meh. Some of my nitpicks are here. And I don't have a lot, but it's things you almost expect with a movie like this too. It's the dialogue around the campfire is pretty cheesy.
True.
Some of the acting's kind of flat.
Yeah.
Some of the lines, especially the opening scene where they're talking around the necklace, they all sound super come on, Todd, let's go. Super robotic almost. Right. But it wasn't enough to kill it because they do that spotlight of shining on the killer so much that
it's warranted.
These guys are just side characters.
It's a slasher movie, they're fodder for the hand of the villain,
Yeah, but those are the major nitpicky things. At first, the ending was losing me.
Really?
And then it got really tense. And I was like, okay, this I would throw in the good. Yeah. But at first, they're driving down the road in silence for 3 minutes, and I'm like, okay, this might be where the pacing issues they're talking about. But then it got good, so I can't even throw that in the mad. But it's just minor nitpicky things. There's definitely flaws here and there. Even, the practical effects overall were spectacular, but there were a few things, you mentioned the head. When he gets that first kill and you see the bloody hand, the blood didn't look the greatest. But overall, in the grand scheme of things, the practical effects were in the good.
Yeah. I don't know if he was wearing gloves.
Okay.
But his hands were massive.
They were.
I've got pretty big hands, but this dude has some mitts on him.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He had
I was like, holy shit.
He had some sausage fingers.
Hands. Yeah, man.
Looks like every finger in his palm was just stung by a bee.
Yeah. If those are his real hands, I want to shake them.
Did you have anything in the meh, though?
Not really. I mean, other than the, aforementioned, the mouth, the opening.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even really a big deal.
Yeah.
That was the only thing. And the head caught me off guard, but that doesn't matter.
I don't have anything in the bad.
No, me either.
Yeah, this was a movie that, not flawless, but there's nothing that sticks out as bad.
No.
So we'll hop to our final thoughts and ratings then.
Yeah.
What would you like to leave off with In a Violent Nature, and what do you give this movie out of 10?
I think it's a great modern slasher movie that has excellent intention.
Yeah.
I think all of the scenes were placed very well.
Mm-hmm.
The sound design was awesome.
Yes.
All of the foliage noise was really good. The music was cool.
I like the credit song we get.
Yeah. The credit song was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, it's an excellent movie. If you're into slasher movies, if you're into gore, you should definitely go see this.
Yes, for sure.
All the kills were so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And unique.
Yeah.
They're not they're not, there are a few that we, obviously the Throne Axe, we've seen that before, but a lot of these were first time views for me.
Yeah, for sure. I've never seen a head be pulled through a stomach through the back.
Yeah. That is,
Dude, that just blew me away.
Yeah. Yeah. Insanity.
Yeah. But I say I give it a 8 out of 10.
Okay. I was hoping to hit an 8 for you.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, I'm gonna go 8.5. I'll give it a peg above the 8. That puts it on par with, I'd say, probably the final chapter for Friday the 13th for me, in my personal opinion. Like you said, I mean, everything you said was spot on. It's a great slasher movie. Hopefully, it gets more views than our theater got.
Yeah.
But we were also in a smaller theater. Hopefully in the New Yorks and the LAs, they're getting full theaters for this one. But
yeah.
Great practical effects. It's everything you'd want in a continuation of the Friday the 13th, but still its own thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Great mask. Ryan Barrett was awesome as the monster face, as Johnny.
Yes.
He did a great job, even with the facial expressions, but just being that big brute walking through the woods.
It takes a special person to know what to do with their body when the camera is just facing the back of them the majority of the movie,
No, he was spectacular. I mean, you see it in the trailer, but once you actually live it too in the full movie, he did an incredible job.
I give him props. I would compare his performance to Kane Hodder.
Yeah.
For sure.
Same shape too, just a big man in a mask, and good costume design too. I liked the torn up flannel with he has a t-shirt underneath that has a bunch of holes in it, which shows you he's been shot at before in his last run through his adventures, but it was just all well done. Not perfect by any means, but definitely a great movie, one that I'll revisit. And you said, it's not very often where you're asking for sequels in movies.
Yeah.
This is one I'd be okay with.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know what they would do. Maybe a prequel, probably.
Maybe, yeah.
Because they told a lot about the prequel.
Yeah.
I would like to see that. I think they could do at least one more movie. I would like to see 2 more.
Yeah, make a little trilogy out of it.
Yeah.
But definitely a great movie. I'm glad we got to go see it today.
Absolutely.
And hopefully everybody else goes and checks it out.
Yeah. Please watch it.
Don't wait for it to come out to streaming.
No, go to the theater.
Give the theater your money. It's a great theater experience.
Yeah.
Like you said, the sound design in the theaters was it obviously, the cinematography was great, and it being shot in 4:3 rather than widescreen was really cool, but the sound is really good in the surround sound theater. But yeah.
If you have to watch it at home, wear headphones.
Yeah. Or get a surround sound system.
Yeah, if you have $1,200 to blow.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't blow it on this movie just to see it, but if you've got a surround sound system, definitely use it. You'll be pleased.
For sure. Hell yeah. That'll do it for In a Violent Nature. Russ, thank you, brother, for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for everything you do for the show.
Oh, anytime.
Thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, please check out some of these other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links down below. Russell's in every description. If you want to check out his Instagram, he makes music, does cool things, and he's just a badass. So check him out as well. But again, thank you all for watching, and we will talk to you all soon. Peace.